Hello and welcome back. This is a second video on strategic intelligence assessment on Yemen. So let's begin with geographic analysis. Strategic location of Yemen. Yemen occupies one of the most strategic valuable location in Middle East. Unlike many other regional conflicts that occur inland, Yemen sits directly adjacent to Bab al-Mandeb Strait, the narrow maritime passage connecting the Red Sea to Gulf of Aden and Indian Ocean. Think of it is like the corridor links Europe, Mediterranean Sea, Suez Canal, Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, Asia. So that every vessel traveling between Europe and much of Asia via the Suez Canal normally passes through Bab al-Mandeb. So why does the Bab al-Mandeb matters? So unlike the Strait of Hormuz, which primarily affects Gulf energy exports, Bab al-Mandeb is critical for containing shipping, oil exports, LNG cargoes, manufactured goods, military logistics, global supply chain. Any sustained disruption forces may ship to reroute around the Cape of Good Hope, adding the approximately 10 to 15 days of voyages between Asia and Europe depending on origin and destination. The trade routes. Primary maritime flow includes the northern bound, which includes Saudi crude, UAE export, Asian manufactured goods, LNG containers, and the southbound, which includes European export, military cargo, industrial equipments, consumer product. The strategic choke point. Bab al-Mandeb is only about 30 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, making commercial vessel traffic vulnerable to anti-shipping missiles, drones, naval mines, explosive boats, maritime interdictions. This geographic reality gives a relatively modest military capabilities to the potentially affect disproportionately large volumes of international trades. Major ports. Houthi, principal Houthi controlled Red Sea port critical for import into Houthi held territory, frequently scrutinized due to concern over potential military use cargo. Mocha, strategically located near Bab al-Mandeb, historically important. Aden, controlled by forces aligned with Yemen internationally recognized government, important logistic hub. Djibouti, across the strait. Host military facilities belong to United States, France, Japan, China, Italy. Pipeline. Pipeline. Saudi Arabia has invested in east-west pipeline infrastructure, allowing some oil exports to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. However, Bab al-Mandeb remains important because Red Sea ports supports exports. Shipping to Europe affected global freights make react disruption regardless of origin. Let's give some of the historical context. In 1990s, the Houthi movement Ansar Allah emerged in northern Yemen as jihadi revivalist movement responding to local political, regional and socio-economic grievances. In 2004 to 2010, the Houthis fought multiple wars against the Yemeni government. At this stage, the conflict remained primarily domestic. In 2011, the political upheaval during the Arab Spring weekend, the Yemeni state, the power vacuum expanded. In 2014, the Houthi captured Sana'a. This fundamentally changed the regional strategic calculation. Saudi Arabia increasingly viewed Yemen through the lens of regional competition with Iran. In 2015, the Saudi Arabia formed a coalition and a launchpad operative decisive storm after internationally recognized Yemeni government requested military assistance. Their strategic objective not a territorial conquest, but to restore the recognized government, prevent consolidation of Houthi controlled, limit Iranian influence, secure Saudi border. In 2018, the Battle of Houthi, Houthi highlighted the strategic importance of Red Sea ports. The coalition of South to reduce Houthi control over a key logistic hub, while humanitarian concerns complicated the military operations. And in 2022, UN broke the truce significantly reduced The cross-border attacks and opened a space for negotiation. Although never fully resolving the conflict, it reduced the direct Saudi Houthis hostilities for several years. So, talking about 2023 to 2025, following the Gaza conflict, Houthis expanded attack on commercial shipping in Red Sea, drawing responses from United States and partners navies through maritime security operations. The Bab al-Mandeb became the central arena of regional competition. So in 2026, border broader US-Iran conflict increased pressure on Yemen. Recent incident involving Sana'a airport, Iranian flights, and renewed missile exchanges between the Houthis and Saudi Arabia have raised concerns that the fragile truck could unravel. Some of the well-known reporters have reported that the Saudi-backed force struck Sana'a airport's runway to prevent an Iranian aircraft from landing, after which the Houthis launched missiles towards Saudi Arabia Aba airport. So, geostrategic assessment: the Yemen conflict is not simply a civil war. It is simultaneously a civil war, a Saudi-Iran regional competition, a maritime security crisis, a global trade issue, and increasingly competent of border confrontation involving Iran, Israel, and United States and Gulf states. The Houthis' strategic significance stems less from their size of than their geography. By operating near Bab al-Mandeb, they can influence one of the world's most important trade corridors, giving a local conflict global economic consequences. Thank you.